You can call us old school. Yes, it's all right. People may say we are old school because when we hear words like organ harvesting, illegal kidney market, of those who prey on young people who are unsure, who are destabilized or devastated, and take vital organs from them with the intent to sell it for higher, in fact, for humongous amounts today. We'll get to learn from barristers about what should be done with and to them and all others of their ilk. As you stay with us on Weekend Deal, we need you, your contributions, your input. We want to know what you know. My name is Thelma Obaze. Welcome to Weekend Deal.
Thelma, well said. Unfortunately, the black market of organ trafficking is booming, and the simple reason is this. The demand for organ is high, and this is because the cases of renal failure and other diseases that affect the organ is also on the increase.
As we celebrate the Super Eagles with the AFCON win, we know a lot of training has gone in to make them more flexible, more energetic. Maybe we invite Dip with yoga.
So that's
And already this is how we do it.
Yeah, they're good.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Raise your knee, walk towards your trunk. Namaste. Hello to everyone. I am Dipti Ranjan Mohanty, a trained yoga teacher from High Commission of India, Abuja. She is Tinasi. Now we perform Matsya-asana. Matsya means fish. So the posture name is Matsya-asana or fish pose. Those who are suffering from heart disease, peptic ulcer, sciatica, slip disc, hernia, they should avoid this posture. And hypertension people should avoid this posture. And in case of pregnancy and menstrual cycle, women should avoid this posture. Now, release your legs, outstretch your both legs. Sit in Dandasana. Now, fold your right leg. Place it above your left thigh. Now, fold your left leg. Place your left foot above your right thigh. Now, through the support of your both hands, come to support of your both hands. Now lie down on your back. Now bring your both hands side of your head. Now raise your chest. Place your crown of the head on the floor. Hold your both big toe. Touch your both elbow on the floor. Relax your shoulder. Relax your back. This is called Matsya-asana. Close your eyes. Maintain this posture as much as comfortable. Now breathe out. Bring your both hands side of your head. Release your chest. Now release your legs. Now we'll do the variation of Matsya-asana. Those who are beginners, those who are not capable to sit in Padmasana, they should do this posture. Straight your both legs. Bring your both palms under your buttock. Palm facing down. Now breathe in. Raise your chest up. Place your crown of the head on the floor. This is the variation of Matsya-asana, fish pose. Breathe out, release your neck, come to lying down position. Matsya fish pose. This asana stretches the intestines and abdominal organs and is useful for all abdominal ailments. It removes constipation and also relieves inflamed and bleeding piles. This practice is very good for asthma and bronchitis as it encourages deep respiration. It recirculates stagnant blood in the back and alleviating backache. Thank you for joining this yoga session. See you next time. Namaste. Raise your knee, walk towards your trunk.
That level of flexibility is actually scary. Thelma, things that should not bend are bending.
That means everything in this body can be
I
bent.
don't understand how those things are bending, but while I'm contemplating that, and I'm sure you are too, let's go on a break. The show will continue.
Organ harvesting and the illicit kidney market has opened our eyes to degrees of man's inhumanity to man. Let's open our eyes further and bring forth the legal angle. Let's see where the cookie falls.
Of late, Nigeria has witnessed a rise in the number of reported cases of organ harvesting in the country, with the removal of organs such as the kidney, liver, and heart, among others.
We talk about organ donation when somebody has a need for maybe a heart transplant, kidney transplant, liver or even lung transplant. People willfully on their own donate maybe a living person. At times you can also have a living person writing that when he dies, this part of his body be given out. That means willingly, but when you go to the realms of trafficking and then harvesting, that means it's done with, the will is not there. It's by compulsion or by deceit, and these parts of the body are harvested, and then sold. It is usually done for commercial purposes.
Factors driving individuals to sell their organs are complex, including economic desperation, lack of education, and limited health care resources.
We did very well, very, very well. Oh, yeah.
There's a high demand for the kidney, and there's also a high demand for the human heart. The liver is also marketed, but it's delicate because it often gets diseased. It does not even, the survival rate when it's transplanted is very low. And when it's a matter of life and death, and you are told that your kidney needs to be changed, and then you have to get somebody who may perhaps be asked to sign papers. It's a life and death situation. You want to go and hunt or look for somebody. The person may willfully want to give you, but he may not have the full story. So ignorance. So if you told, oh, we'll be removed and you won't have any problem, who told you won't have any problem? You may eventually have a problem.
Organ harvesting, particularly in the context of illegal kidney market, is a grave issue that poses significant ethical, moral, and human rights concerns.
It used to be like a stick.
There is a market, a dark market or illegal market out there that is busy with this trade. Like the Mararaba case in Abuja that was reported recently, they said that it sold for 1 million, or the person whose kidney is extracted is paid 1 million. Then the people you are giving, the person you are giving to will pay a higher amount, a premium. So and the difference, who it goes to, a lot number of people shares it, people who are involved in that value chain. So these are the things that drive it. It's not restricted to maybe Mararaba. It can even be happening in the villages where there are local hospitals. It's just like when people procure abortion You know, there are a lot of clinics, hospitals that do that.
Several organizations and individuals are actively working to rescue victims of organ trafficking and provide rehabilitation. These entities often collaborate with law enforcement agencies to dismantle trafficking networks and support survivors in rebuilding their lives.
You've missed all this. You've missed all this.
We have laws. The issue is enforcement. There is the Trafficking in Persons Prohibition Enforcement and Administrative Act of 2015. There is also the National Health Act of 2014. They have stringent lines against trafficking in human parts. And in Lagos State law, you go to prison for 10 years if you are caught, or you pay 7 million. So I think those are the penalties. I think there's also one that no option of fine. So there are many states, but some states like Lagos have been bold enough to come out to have laws.
Journey clinging to the rudder of a cargo ship.
By addressing the underlying factors that drive organ trafficking, raising awareness and implementing effective solutions, there is hope for combating this illicit trade and protecting the vulnerable individuals involved.
Poverty is a menace. You know, he wants to make money. Some people have not even eaten. Say, why should I have? What am I doing with 2 kidneys when I can sell it and get 1 million? You know, a lot of young people who are in that Mararabe alone, who every day want to sell their kidney. Even though people who donate blood, they donate it in some private clinics, hospitals, to be paid so that they can eat. So it's a big problem. So unless there is something that will pull people from that, and that thing can only be provided in sufficient amount by the government.
Tackling organ harvesting and the illegal kidney market in Nigeria requires a multifaceted approach. Therefore, our focus on Weekend Deal today will be on organ harvesting and illegal kidney markets.
Welcome back. Honestly, poverty is menace, and it's what makes these victims attractive to the perpetrators. Oftentimes we hear of medical professionals involved in organ harvesting. What is the true situation, and how have this impacted the medical community? Jennifer has done some research, and she will take us on this conversation. Meanwhile, our guests are coming in. Thelma, let's go keep their company so that our conversation can truly begin.
We should, really, we should.
Organ transplantation involves the voluntary and altruistic donation of organs for the purpose of saving lives or improving health. And it takes place inside a regulated framework with strong ethical criteria and the consent of both the donor and the recipients. Where is Nigeria today in organ transplantation?
As a country, organ transplantation is at the babyhood stage. Only a few centers around the country can venture to dare into that field because it requires a lot of resources and requires a lot of skilled labor and equipment. So the few centers that have pioneered organ transplantation, they are grappling with a lot of issues. And one of the issues is the legal issue. We don't have laws, sufficient laws, that will guide the organ transplant in Nigeria. So because of that, centers are doing what they think is right. The only law that talks about organ transplant in Nigeria is the National Health Act, and it's so scanty. You can count the requirements on the tip of your fingers.
Organ harvesting, on the other hand, is the illegal removal of organs without consent and is an increasing global concern. Nigeria, like other countries, is also faced with this dark reality. What is the involvement of medical professionals in organ harvesting?
When you talk in terms of illegal organ harvesting or illegal organ transplant, I can only talk about our center. There is nothing like illegal kidney transplant in my center, Alliance Hospital. But am I saying that there are no sharp practices? There are. When patients stand before me as a hospital, as a surgeon, I have the responsibility to ask questions and they will give me answers. If they lied to me, that is not me anymore. They are lying to the law. So what most donors do is that they lie in order to bypass the law. And when they do that and they even lie under oath, the hospital does not have a choice. Even if you suspect that this person is lying, but they have given you evidence, what are you going to do? So this is what people say is illegal organ transplant. But before the hospital, it's not illegal because there are documents. But whatever transpired between the patient, the recipient, and the donor behind us, we don't know. With the benefit of hindsight, sometimes we find out that the hospital has been deceived. When quarrel comes up and we are hearing behind the scene that, there was money promised and the people did not fulfill their promises. We don't know. When you want to do kidney transplant, to take organ from someone, it's a big deal. You need 2 big surgeries to be going on at the same time. If you take a kidney from someone and hold it in your hand for more than 10 minutes, that kidney is useless. So you have to have 2 theaters at the same time. The donor surgery is going on, then the recipient surgery is going on. As you are taking it from the donor, you are transplanting it immediately under very strict conditions. Many doctors don't know what it takes to do organ transplant. So you can't, they say someone did a surgery some years back and later they found out that the 1 kidney is missing. Some people are born with only 1 kidney. Some, even if they were born with 2, disease can affect one, it can shrink to become not visible on scan. So the fact that they did an X-ray or did a scan and they didn't see a kidney does not mean that it was harvested. People think that when you harvest organ, you put it in the fridge. Whenever you need to see someone that needs it, you take it and give to him. That's not how, it's not that simple. And there are only few surgeons in this country, not more than 10, that can safely take organ from someone and put it in another person. We bring in our surgeon from India. And it costs thousands of dollars to pay someone to harvest organ. How much what was the monetary exchange? So as far as I'm concerned, the medical profession reputation is intact. What you have is ignorance going on rampage all over the place.
Lift up.
This is where I'm calling on the National Assembly to make laws, to make it more difficult for people, young men and women, who feel that selling their organ is the way out of penury, to make it more difficult for them to sell their organs.
Interesting to note, we've gotten another angle to this organ harvesting story. Let us get all the angles, as many possible, so we are further enriched and we know exactly what we're tackling. And talking about tackling now, our guests are here. Let's meet Dr. Henry Ewunonu.
Okay, so our next guest is Barrister Francis Moses Nwara. Again, let's meet him virtually.
It's great to have you gentlemen with us on Weekend Deal today. We're talking about organ harvesting and the illegal kidney market.
It's my pleasure to be here. Good morning.
Barrister?
Thank you very much. Good morning, Doctor. My pleasure to compliment of the season.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Okay.
Indeed. So when we just saw, we set the tone yesterday, we spoke expansively, and today we want to go particular now. In the future, we saw the mini doc before we invited you to come in and bring your expert knowledge to our conversation. We heard Dr. Tabo say that it's almost impossible to have a surgery of this nature without the participants having active and participatory knowledge of what is going to happen. But first, Dr. Henry, tell us about the vitality of that organ called the kidney. What does it perform in the body? Why is it so critical to many lives?
Thank you once again for having me. Congratulations, you especially, Thelma, for Nigeria's victory. Yes, I was praying and I said, if I have antidepressants, anxiety drugs, I will send to Thelma in case. I didn't go that way. Yes, the kidney serves many functions. There are two small bean-shaped organs at the back. They're located at the back. They are called intra-abdominal organs, but there are more to the back. We have two. Every individual has two. It is the refuse disposal plant of the body. That is the way to look at it. But it has capacity to process other byproducts and perform other functions in the body. What do I mean by refuse disposal plant? Everything we eat, the body processes it to generate energy, to make new cells for repair, replacement, to perform other functions. There are byproducts that are also degraded. These are filtered off in the kidney. So the kidney handles the body fluids, remove what is toxic to the body, produces urine. The urine travels down in the two tubes we call ureters. They are stored at the level of the waist, one reservoir at the level of the waist called the urinary bladder, from where, when the urge comes, people urinate. The kidney also has other functions in making red blood cells because it produces that hormone, that chemical called erythropoietin. The kidney also, and in handling body fluids, the kidney performs role in maintenance of blood pressure. Very important. Even in vitamin D handling of the body production and disposal and so on, the kidney performs these roles. So, if anything injures this kidney, unfortunately, nobody will know until 85 to 90% of the capacity of this kidney is lost. Family history is important. People should know their background. People should know their roots. What did your great-grandfather? How long did your grandfather live? What of your grandmother? Has anybody died from anything related to kidney? Oh, they said, no, towards the end, the leg was swollen, the eyes, everything, they had massive swelling of the abdomen we call ascites. That may point to many things. So when you give your doctor this history, you use backward integration to find out, to see whether you can relate and correlate, what is happening to the person's system. Answer is yes, there are ways to dictate declining function before failure comes.
Okay. Dr. Henry, we want to, this is amazing, so expansive. It's an entire learning process. But what I've come to find is that little matter how elongated, expansive the process may be of learning and of understanding, or even the damage to the kidney, what happens in this organ black market, it still defies my old school thinking. People are in need, yes, they are in need. Look to the legal means or look to your family to get. Many of them have to. Those young people you are preying on is the fact that it defies understanding. It's inhumanity to man, many still say. Our lawyer will get his turn to speak on this issue in just a moment. But meanwhile, To reinforce some of what Dr. Henry has said and to make an introduction for the lawyer, Magdalene's been doing some research on the lack of regulation and non-obvious persecution of people who have been found wanting in this regard. Magdalene, please share your findings with us.
According to research, the World Health Organization, WHO, has condemned the payment for organs in its 1987 resolution, declaring that organs should be donated freely without any monetary gains or expectation.
Organ harvesting can be said to be the illegal practice of surgically removing the organ of a victim without his or her consent. This simply means that if a victim's organ is surgically removed with his or her consent, it may be properly defined as donation because certain protocols would have been followed. Sometimes when people are kidnapped, they are kept in a situation where they have no option than to submit themselves to such surgical removal. Sometimes also when minor who ordinarily does not even know the difference between the implications of what they are about to do willingly, maybe because they need money to do X, Y, Z. So in such context, you can say that organ of such person is harvested.
Also, statistics reveal that the National Organ Transplant Act of 1980 advocated that the sale of human organs is unethical and therefore a violation of the principle of justice and respect for autonomy and must be prosecuted.
We look at the Trafficking Person Prohibition Enforcement and Administration Act 2015, enacted by the Nigerian government to control and to also punish, particularly Section 20, subsection 2 of that act, clearly stipulates punishment for people who run foul of this law. Anyone who is caught and convicted could go for 7 years imprisonment or for a fine of about 5 million.
It is recorded that the most common victims of trafficking in persons for organ removal are the refugees, the migrants, asylum seekers, and so on, as they are often desperate to provide for themselves and their families, especially in these challenging times.
We have suddenly seen a spike in this transaction as far as the Nigerian situation is concerned. And that could be as a result of lack of knowledge, awareness from the people on the implication of what they are about to do. It could also occasion from poverty in the land because people who don't have money ordinarily could be cajoled into believing that the removal of one of their kidney or one organ could fetch them XYZ amount of money. I have been involved in advocacy of this illegal, against this illegal business, and I'm aware that those whose organs are harvested are given within the range of 1.2 million to 1.5 million. The Nigerian government, bearing in mind this sort of situation, have created what we call NAPTIP, an agency of the government that is expected to regulate some of these activities, trafficking in human person, trafficking in organ, and doing all other illicit businesses that affect humanity. They are to do this in conjunction with the security agencies, with the Nigerian Medical Association, and every other agencies that are properly empowered by the laws of Nigeria to coordinate this sort of activities. Unfortunately, we have not seen any suspect being prosecuted and convicted in recent times.
Research further reveals that the WHO has estimated that an approximation of 5 million transplants takes place annually using illegal sources. Furthermore, the Global Finance Integrity ranks the organ trade as the top 5 of the most profitable organized crime, with the coordination of corrupt medical professionals worldwide.
There are hospitals who have been named. I have been involved in this advocacy. Those who are champions and leaders in this racketeering, they are in public glare, and we have visited such hospitals located in Abuja, Lagos, and environ. Government should use the long hands of the law to penalize operators of this hospital, either by withdrawing the certificates of owners of those hospitals or even outrightly prosecuting them.
The legal authorities sent to strengthen regulations and legislations to enforce stricter penalties on the offenders and to ensure that all perpetrators of this cowardly act are brought to book.
Thank you so much, Magdalene. That was an expose coming from the legal action. Thank God we have a legal man in the house. We have a barrister in the house. Barrister, you're welcome once again to Weekend Deal Studios.
For my pleasure. Thank you very much.
We're looking at this from the medical point of view, but we know that when these things occur, there must be a form of law and form of punitive measures, you know, to deter people who want to go into this very black, terrible market. Do you think we have the legal framework to stop people? Do you think our legal framework is strong enough, is punitive enough to stop intending perpetrators?
You see, thank you very much once again for having me. You see, when it comes to issue of organ, I want to take it from the angle of general organ transplantation. Now, if we talk about the organ transplantation, that is the legally acceptable means of donation of what? Of part of organs. Yes. What are those organs? It could be kidney, you understand, it could be liver, it could be heart, it could be, you understand, but it's just that because we're concentrating on kidney, you understand. So at the end of the day, offense is relating to illegal organ transplantation. They are all prescribed, we have a very fine and robust, that's what it's true, to have a fine and robust legal framework. You know, most of the times in the country, they say, we need to do this. What about the ones that are on ground? How far have we gone in respecting them? You understand? Okay. So if we talk about, if, like the question you asked, if we have effective, in reality we have, I can mention, it's just that the time will not permit. If not, I can mention not less than 15 laws, yes, that regulate organ transplantation. When I mean organ transplantation, generally, it is only where you have the illegal means that it goes to harvest. Yes. Because if you go through the whole legislation, you can see where we have organ harvest. Those terms are being used by medical practitioners to say, okay, organ harvesting, organ procurement, organ procurement, organ harvesting, organ transplantation, and organ. But to me, I don't feel if it is, when it comes to the unethical aspect of it, yes, it is better you tag it as organ harvesting. That's what we understand? Yeah, organ harvesting. Now, we have, beginning from, I would prefer to start from the Constitution. You understand? That is the ground norm of all laws, the Constitution. We have chapter 2 that talks about health. Because we're talking about organ, we're talking about that aspect of human parts that assist one to either function well or to carry out one or two activities. You understand? You know, now when one of these organs start having issue, that's where I start calculating, okay, how do I transplant? Do I have a part of it within myself that can transplant from this part of my body to this other part, or do I need a donor? You understand? That's where a third party now comes in. A third party comes in. You know, do I need somebody now that, you know, from this thing that I'm looking for, this part of the organ that I'm looking for, which is the kidney, you know, because so far, like the doctor said rightly, that is the most sought for organ, right? You understand, organ, because it tends to, you know, work with most of the major parts of our body. Because someone can, eyes, talking about the eyes, the sight, which is also part of the organs, one can function and do far better even without the sight. There are some people that, yes, the senses is part of the senses. Someone can do, but for the kidney, when someone has eyes, has everything, and the kidney start failing, the tendency of the person now to start even losing virtually everything about himself or herself is higher. So that's why the sorted out for the kidney is becoming higher. Apart from the harvesting, illegal alleged harvesting of organs, the issue of trafficking was also included. You understand? So if you bring in at the end of the day, you may end up getting a conviction that is higher. A strong
the alarming nature or the frequency of the harvesting is not commensurate with the gist of jail time or conviction or even trial.
Yeah, because of the sieving. You know, when you talk about the process, at the end of the day, you discover that the compounding conviction may be one, trafficking in person, assault, rape, at the end of the day.
So the onus is on the lawyers now.
The prosecution now.
Okay,
Yes,
those who are going to defend these victims and Nigeria in court to make a powerful case so that we have a powerful deterrent.
I am also worried because he's saying something. He said if the person has other charges, I'm saying it in the simple man's language.
Yes.
If other charges, so what if what the person did alone is not trafficking? How can you wait now? Okay, I mean you just got somebody.
Yes.
Let's say you just took advantage of a poor man, and you did it illegally.
Yes.
You're not doing any other thing, so that person goes with a slap on the wrist.
Now let me tell you now. For example, now you actually got somebody. How did you get the person? There was somebody.
He was poor.
No, I'm coming. There was somebody that introduced you to that person. Issue of conspiracy comes in. Conspiracy on its own is an offense.
Okay.
It's also punishable. Are you getting where I'm going to? Conspiracy. There is a possibility that you got 2 naira, you got 1 million, and you gave the person 500 naira. That's what they call criminal breach of trust. The person trusted you, and you criminally breached that trust. Is another offense. So if you, at the end of the day,
you have to
and now accumulate all those things, the person can be at the end of the day getting like a
Barrister Wora,
yes.
And your team must compound more. Whatever it takes, we need to see a powerful deterrent. And there are big players in this industry. When we're hearing about $100,000, billions of dollars.
Yes.
So, law enforcement is saying they are ready to bring them to the table if the lawyers are ready to send them to jail.
Publicity?
Do more research.
And
We've gone a break now. When we come back, there's more. Weekend break. Send your messages coming in. We want to hear about you. What do you think? What do you know? What is happening at your end? Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. I'd like to thank you so much each time you join this conversation, and you've done so again. We have some messages. I'll be taking some few, and then we'll go back to our guest. Somebody said, good morning, and please, your name and where you're writing us from. It's very important. Okay, somebody said, good morning, everyone in the house. Congrats to our Super Eagle for making Nigeria proud last night. Kudos to them. I am okay to go testing from Ebonyi State, and I think what Doctor said is very important. I know you are the legal person here, but I want to ask them, Doctor, do you think our laws are strong enough? Do you think we are regulated? Government is regulating this organ donation industry. Do you think?
The laws are strong. Now, the penalty is prescribed. You know, the National Health Act had a gestational period of 10 years in the National Assembly.
Okay.
So the first time it was submitted as a bill was in 2004. You can imagine the value of 1 million naira in 2004.
That's huge.
Now, what the Act says is that the minister will make regulations for the implementation of this Act. The ministers, I wish I have opportunity to speak with the Honorable Minister of State Health, who is a nephrologist.
You saw his interview yesterday.
Yes, he spoke very well, but the challenge is act, work. So the law says, minister, make regulations for implement. Usually laws are stepped down into policies, frameworks, and so on. Implementable standard operating procedures. That thing has not been done. For instance, in this part 6, Barrister Wora has cited of the National Health Act, there is a section says it is not every hospital that should conduct
or should be qualified for that,
transplant. So it is designated hospitals. And that is, I'm cross-referencing section 12 and section 13 of this same law that says, first, the Federal Minister of Health shall do what they call classification of health technologies and establishments in section 12, and after that, award certificate of standards. Meaning that Nigerians should know, ABC Hospital located in Jos, this is what you can do because you have been assessed and certified that that's what you can do.
Yes.
But let me take you back to 2013. In 2013, June 13 or so, 2013, the Honorable Minister of Health, that time, June 14, 2013. Vanguard of June 14, 2013. Viewers, you can go and Google it. Honorable Minister of Health that time, Professor Yobuchi Chukwu, said Nigeria now has approved 7 centers for renal transplant. Because federal government, because they were all federal government centers, they have now equipped the place with state-of-the-art facilities and personnel.
Good.
1 year after, in 2014, he said they have not been upgraded to 9.
Nice.
So from 2014 to 2024, how many more have been added?
Upgraded.
So the ministers have worked. They said they have set up a committee committee of standards that will do this. My problem is that in this country, that is where we keep on recycling non-performance. Because the big people they will put there, it will take them till their kingdom come before they produce a report. Produce a report, it will take them another 6, 8, 7 years for it to be acted upon.
Can I say something, Dr.
Yes.
Henry? Now we have, that was why we used this platform of Weekend Deal, the flagship weekend program on NTA, to showcase what he said. We assured him that millions of Nigerians are watching locally and internationally, and they are taking his word for fact, and they are betting on it for positivity.
If he's watching or if his aides are watching, they should tell him that in 2020, the National Association of Nephrology says there are 25 million Nigerians living with end-stage renal disease, that is chronic kidney failure, that only dialysis or now transplantation can help. 25 million Nigerians, that's about 11%. If we are 215 million in 2024.
That's a huge number.
That's a huge number. So it should not be taken for. So that is why I have seen your concern, and so on concern of other people. Nigerians are very godly people. We go to church everywhere. It's closed down today. But if a member of our family has chronic kidney disease today that needs transplant, we forget all this and start sourcing for donors. Where do we go for donors? Under the bridge in Mararaba.
But can I say something? That will not be my first option. God forbid it happens, I will look to my large family for help.
Okay, very good. Family donors.
I will look to friends.
Most times, you see what the white people have done to us.
The owners.
We have now killed the extended family system, where everybody belongs to everybody. This nuclear family system is not working. Most times, people are alienated from their relations.
Yes.
Those young people that you would have brought to donate, who could have offered. Nigerians are still, relations are still, but people are still coming to the help of people in need. Nigerians are very loving, caring people. That's why open up this thing for crowdfunding to help anybody. You will see how many people will come in. But people have alienated themselves, built high walls, they call fences, put barricades, call gates, and so on. People are not assessing their relations.
Dr. Henry, can I say something, please? In spite of that fact, which we knew, many of us are part of those families. We know of the alienation. In my own opinion, I don't know about Nigerians' opinion, nothing, absolutely nothing justifies preying on somebody, because that life you are struggling to protect and keep, the person you are preying on also has a life and a future. But Madelisha tells me something now, that we must go on a break. Well, when we come back, we're going to Lagos. Lagos is asking us, why have you not aired our package? Because they showcase that NAPTIP is also working assiduously along with law enforcement and other organizations to bring to the fore these criminal elements in our society. Let's see this.
The menace of trafficking human organs is a global concern, where harvested organs like the kidney and other vital body parts are traded in the black market. In Nigeria, the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, essentially has the mandate to deal with all issues concerning human trafficking, organ harvesting inclusive, but inter-agency collaborations involving immigration, police, customs and others are very crucial to combat organ harvesting and trafficking in Nigeria.
The security agencies should synergize, and security business, like you said, is everybody's business. If you suspect something untoward, raise alarm. preventing the crime is far more cheap and better than fighting the crime.
Organ harvesting usually happens by compulsion, deception, kidnapping and abduction of victims, and by exploitation of vulnerable persons. Only few victims live to tell the tales of their ordeal in the den of organ harvesters if they are lucky to be rescued alive.
The syndicate in Abuja were exposed. Those who were doing it in the suburb of Abuja, harvesting a human organ. And that's why you have very high cases of missing persons now, because without the informed consent, you probably will need to kill the owner of the donor, or the owner, because it's not a donor if it's taken against his wish.
It was reported in the Nigerian Daily Independent that in June 2023, the Lagos State government directed the police to investigate the alleged illegal removal of the ovaries of two young ladies, aged 17 and 19, by two doctors in Ogun and Lagos State. According to the report, they were deceived into harvesting their ovaries with a compensation of 80,000 naira each. Sadly, due to their naivety and ignorance, they live with its consequence of excruciating pains and other health conditions. Why does this illicit trade of organ harvesting appear evasive and thrive in our society?
You criminalize such very serious crime, and then the punishment is 2 years imprisonment or 100,000. When we know that in the black market, a kidney can go for as high as $100,000. So it's just like a slap on the wrist. And the traffickers will be emboldened. If it is jail time, 2 years, it comes out, it continues. If it is option of fine, it pays 100,000.
What initiatives then should be in place to nip the menace in the bud?
The first thing is enlightenment, because a lot of the people whose organs are being trafficked are also not enlightened. Then accountability is very essential. Who are the doctors carrying out this procedure without verifying? They should lose their licenses and go to jail and no.
In legal issues, if you miss it at the court of first instance, you go and try it before 3 wise men at the court of appeal. If you still miss it there, you still have one last chance to go to the 5 wise men at the Supreme Court. If it is ordinary regular matter, or if it's a constitutional matter, 7 men at the Supreme Court and 5 at the Court of Appeal. But in medical procedure, there is no chance, no second chance. You miss it, the patient is gone. You can't appeal. So that is why there should be stricter regulation about setting up medical facility and periodic unannounced inspection to be sure that the standards are met.
Modern slavery of organ harvesting is a violation of the victim's fundamental rights to life. Like it is in other climes, if the dehumanizing trade of organ harvesting must be stopped, more will have to be done to not only deter the perpetrators, but to make the illicit trade non-lucrative.
Indeed, there's so much to be done. NTA Oka will be joining the conversation now, and their own is titled "The Anatomy of Organ Trafficking."
The high cost of organs, when successfully harvested, has made organ harvesting practice attractive for some criminals who now operate illegally in the practice of organ harvest. Usually, access to organs always takes place with the consent of the owner of the body organ, who either donates or sell one of his or her organs for medical reasons. But unfortunately, today, records have it that people are kidnapped, abducted, and gruesomely murdered just to harvest their organs. This development has little increase in kidnapped cases and people's disappearance. As a matter of fact, this ugly development calls for concern from all. Well, in a step to address these heart-rending issues, a medical professional spoke on this.
Well, this is becoming a new phenomenon. We know of an organ donation where individuals that are at the point of death, and there's some other people that can help them, particularly people that have what we call bilateral organs, can give out one to save their lives, and that is commonest with kidneys, and usually it's called organ donation. But what we are hearing now is people trading on human organs, as trafficking. I think that is condemnable. That is very bad and should not happen in medical practice.
In addition to these reactions, a concerned Nigerian condemned this ugly trend.
You talk about organ harvesting, kidney harvesting. What we hear of is donation of organs to people who are sick. And we've had cases in the past where relatives donate organs. For instance, in the case of kidney, you have two. So if you want to donate and you go to the hospital, the experts will check you to see if the organ you are donating is compatible to the person that will receive it. But lately we started hearing of harvesting, as if you are harvesting some farm crops. It is strange, okay, that people will deliberately begin to harvest another human being's organ for the purposes of for commercial purposes.
Some years back, when medical scientists have not had their way through in a successful organ transplant, cases of human organ trafficking was not well known, not until now, since transplanting of organ is an effort to save life. We should equally know that it is not good to destroy life to save another life. It is against the natural law of humanity.
What will make somebody to risk his life to donate an organ for money? It boils down to poverty. I've never known any wealthy person that will donate any organ for money. And that's why what we know in the past is people who are genuinely sympathetic with people's condition, and they will offer to donate the organ, not to buy it, not to sell it, or not even to buy it to sell to another person, which is called trafficking.
Therefore, people who are involved in this illegal operation should desist from doing so, as these their activities have a very big, deep negative societal implications, which of course involves unnecessary waste of innocent lives, economic sabotage, and lots more.
I will still say it is un-African, little matter how dire your situation is. Barrister Wura, we were looking at ingenious methods, still within the ambits of the law, that will give people hard time in jail, that can serve as a deterrent for many of these criminals who are still hiding under the radar.
You see, just the way we started, those laws, because of most of the times collusion, you understand, because of due to collusion from the conventional practitioners. This is a crime, and a crime is being prosecuted by the states. There is no individual without the fiat of the state government or the federal government, that is talking about that in general, that can prosecute. But thankfully, we have the Administration of Criminal Justice Act that says a private individual can institute a private, a case personally without using those authorities that are known. Because of collusion, there's a possibility that some of these victims that we grieve for can be, maybe they bring up their case, report, and those suspects are arrested. Now, instead of, because there are too many laws that goes with that, instead of now looking for the right laws that will be able to make it stronger and prosecute or couch that charges against the defender, against the alleged accused person, so that at the end of the day, it is whatever you give to the judge that the judge is going to pronounce conviction on. If you decide to charge the suspect on National Health Act that talks about certain payment for money, you understand, and maybe 7 years, 3 years, and all those things. At the end of the day, the judge must give his pronouncement, conviction, if it is established on that. That's why I suggest that there is a need for synergy between lawyers. You understand that if at the end of the day, issues like this are brought in, you have external lawyers. When you bring external solicitors, they are able to prosecute it. Now they do it with passion and without fear or favor, because of the possibility of collusion between the government. The prosecutors are all government establishments. Now, if you bring in an external solicitor who are private individuals who have nothing to gain or benefit because they are not being paid monthly salaries and all those things, and because you see, if you look at the players in this urban against, the organ harvesting, which is illegal, are mostly top-notch people. somebody that can pay for, for the donor, for organ to be transplanted either to him directly or to a victim is somebody that definitely must be able to have one or two money to understand, to fight one or two things.
Okay. I know
you've made your point.
Yeah, and the fire is on, although I still have questions for you, but Nigerians are also asking questions and they're contributing to our program. One says, good morning, NTA. Honestly, some Nigerians, especially youths, go to hospitals themselves, they carry themselves to strike a bargain on how much their organs will be bought at. While there are perpetrators, there are also accessories to this crime that are sometimes donors. The law should be harsh on both sides. Remove the option of fine and punish, and the punishment should be stiff, so that perpetrators spend their whole life in prison, because it's a crime no lesser than murder. This is Fedi Jr. He didn't tell us where he's writing from. And then we have another one here. Government should provide centers all over the federations for the purpose of kidney-related issues, mandatory for Nigerians as regards to organ harvesting. We in Nigeria are at the mercy of God. We have seen situations where a high-profile personnel was convicted and jailed somewhere else outside Nigeria. The judiciary should do a lot more in regards to our lives and as citizens in Nigeria. He didn't put his name, so Nigerians are reacting. One says, we are just paying lip service. They know exactly what to do if they want to really work. The messages are
okay. Thank you. We'll get you to respond. This is our AFCON win. Let us use that one to cool body small. Do you think there's a light at the end of the tunnel, Dr. Henry, after all said and done?
Perhaps God knows why we are having a minister of state that is a nephrologist. I'll go personal to him. Sir, please, in the next 1 year or before at the expiration of your tenure, do something concerning kidney disease in Nigeria. Prevention, let's go by way of prevention. I am worried because today conventional drugs are beyond the reach of the common man. So, kidney infections, people are being told now to go back to Agbo and herbal concoctions. So, more kidneys will fail, added to the 25 million we had in 2020. So, prevention, have more centers, then a kidney donation transplantation program.
Yes.
A program.
Yes.
Have a register as we have in those countries we visit. Let it be documented.
Okay.
Retire these black market people.
Okay.
Once
it is possible.
The black market trade will continue.
Okay.
Yes.
This is how we do it here. We hold hands as we sign off. We hold hands so that there is hope.
Yes.
There is unity. Nigeria is great, and if we are working together assiduously, we will push Nigeria to the highest positive level.
Patients, take care of your health first. Please do your checks once or twice a year.
Our health insurance work.
Yes. For health is wealth.
Thank you.